Morning. Can anybody tell me what the population of the UK is today, roughly? 60 million? Pretty good. 61.8 million. There's somebody who's home for eggheads every single day. Can anybody tell me how many active mobile phones there are in the UK today? So that's active, not the ones that are sitting redundant in your kitchen drawer that you used to use a few years ago. Sorry? Not bad. 80.3 million mobile phones. That's 131% market penetration. Let me ask you a third question. Does anybody here wish they were selling mobile phones rather than property right now? Okay. Over the next 15 minutes or so, conscious that we're running over and everybody's desperate for coffee, certainly I am. Over the next 15 minutes or so, what I'm going to cover is why mobile should be an important part of your business strategy. And then I'm going to give you a very quick synopsis and overview as to what a mobile strategy might look like. Now, on-screen marketing has been with us for years. The TV. Did you know that the first TV commercial was broadcast 70 years ago next week? A company called Bulova in the United States. 1st of July, 1941. TV is what's considered a lean-back approach to marketing, on-screen marketing. In other words, people sitting at home in their sofa with the remote control, the message is coming to you. So it's not very tailored, it's not very specific. And you all know about TV advertising. It's very expensive, prohibitively so for businesses of our size. Very difficult to target specific customer groups as well. But then in the 1990s, the second screen of marketing came along. The computer, the desktop, the laptop, more specifically the internet. And this is what's called by marketing gurus the lean forward approach to marketing. People actually sitting at a desk, leaning forward, coming to you, getting the information that they're looking for. It also allows people to interact with you, to be more involved with your company, to request pieces of information. And more powerful than that from your business perspective, it enabled you to get MI. So you could see how cost effective your marketing was. You could see how many people were visiting your site, where they were going on your site, how long they were spending on it. It enabled you to reach hundreds of thousands, if not millions of customers, much more cost effectively than TV. We're talking about marketing for hundreds of pounds or thousands of pounds, rather than tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of pounds, or even millions. But now we're in a completely different era, and the two previous speakers have both mentioned on this. The mobile device, and specifically the mobile web. This is what we're now calling the pull-forward approach to marketing. Much more powerful. People accessing your company information when they want it, specifically the information that they want, and when they want to take action with it, when they want to do something about it. People are accessing your company when they want to get in touch with you, when they want to use your products and services. It's much more personal than the internet or TV. Everybody put their hand up when they were asked, do they have a smartphone? There'll probably be, I don't know, I would guess 50 iPhones in the room, 20 BlackBerries, give or take. I'll ask the question later on. But every single one of them will be set up differently. You'll all have different apps. You'll all have different favorites. You'll all have different screensavers. So mobile allows you to target your marketing and make it very specific and very personal to each of the target customer groups. And it's always on. If you've ever left your house without your mobile phone, you probably feel completely lost. Mine runs my email. It runs my calendar. It even acts as a phone sometimes. Research by Google early this year, February this year, states that 15% of all web traffic is now through mobile devices. 15%. For the mathematically challenged amongst you, that's just under 1 in 7. So if you don't have a website that's formatted for mobile devices, that's like switching off your website 1 day a week. Why would you do that? And that's only going to get more and more and more. Now, if you have a mobile website, a website that's specifically formatted for viewing on mobile devices, actually you can expect that traffic to be around 25 to 30% on mobile devices. And that's not replacing the traffic that's on the desktop. That's additional. In the same piece of research, Google suggested that 50% of adults in the UK will have a smartphone or a tablet by the end of this year. 50%, that's half of all the people in this room. Half of all of your potential customers will have a smartphone, such as the iPhone, or a tablet, such as the iPad, by the end of this year. And the chart there, that shows mobile web traffic, and it shows it's increasing fourfold over the last 12 months. It doesn't just show that web traffic is increasing, but the rate at which it's increasing is accelerating. Mobile is changing behaviors. It's changing the way your customers look for information. If you provide a website that's specifically formatted for mobile viewing, it'll increase the chances of somebody engaging with your products or services by 75% over viewing your standard company desktop website on the same mobile device. Further research by Microsoft, this is tail end of last year, 3/4 of all the respondents suggested that mobile makes their life easier. The ability to search on a mobile device makes their life easier. Now, it's easy to say it makes it easier, but are they actually doing anything about it? Well, actually, yes. Just under 2/3 of people say that mobile search facility has changed the way that they go and look for information. So don't just say that it's easier, but they're actually changing the way they search for information. And just under 1/3 of people admit to looking up information, searching for information on their mobile device more often than they do on their home computer or their laptop. And that blew one of my misconceptions out the water. I used to think that people were probably looking up information on their mobile device when they weren't at home, when they didn't have access to a desktop, when they didn't have access to a laptop. But if I think of about the way that I use my mobile device, actually I can be sitting on the sofa at home and I just can't be bothered to log onto the computer. Much easier to take the mobile device out of my pocket and do a quick search. So it's actually replacing the computer. It's not additional, it's replacing. Google's marketing mantra for mobile web search at the moment, it's not too late to be early. Google reckon that about 89% of big brands still aren't fully using mobile as part of their marketing and business strategy. Don't have a mobile website, aren't using the other mobile services available to them. By the end of this year, 43% of the UK population will have smartphones. Now, the last slide suggested 50%. That was 50% will have smartphones and or tablets. This is smartphones alone. 43% of the UK population will have a smartphone. After looking up a business on their smartphone, 61% of people called the business to engage with their products or services. 59% actually visited the company to engage with their products and services. 88% of people looking for local information have then followed that up and taken action within 24 hours. Now, that can be something as simple as looking up a taxi and booking it, looking up a pizza delivery company and ordering a pizza, looking up cinema listings, then going to the pictures, or searching for a property and then going to view it. 88% of people. 22 million people access the mobile web every single month in the UK. 22 million people. Now, a lot of these statistics are research and some of them are pretty subjective, so let me give you some really cold, hard facts right now. In February this year, Microsoft invested $1 billion in Nokia to make sure that every new Nokia smartphone is going to carry the Windows mobile operating service. Why? Because Microsoft realized that we're all getting off our desktops and laptops and we're all going into mobile devices. $1 billion. IBM, another computing giant, well, they've been going down the mobile route for ages, and every single one of you with a smartphone is carrying a little bit of IBM technology because they drive most of the processors in most smartphones around the world. Over 1.5 billion mobile devices carry IBM technology now. Why are they doing that? Because IBM estimate that web traffic through mobile devices will increase by 20 times by 2015. And transactional spending, people engaging with you and buying your products and services through mobile devices, will increase by 40 times by 2015. So they know where the market's going. Apple, famous for the Macintosh, the Apple Mac originally, they spent $770 million last year on research and development for the Apple operating system, the i operating system. That's what powers your iPhone and your tablet. That's more than they spent in research and development on the next generation of iPods, and more than they spent in research and development on their Mac laptops. Why? Because they understand that we're all going to mobile devices. So you probably realize by now that you need to be considering a mobile strategy. And what's that going to consider? Well, you're probably thinking about whether you need a mobile app, and we'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But if you've got an iPhone, you've probably used the iApp Store. If you've got an Android phone, you've probably used the Android market by now. Or you might want to consider having a website that's specifically formatted for mobile viewing. You might want to take advantage of mobile advertising. You might want to take advantage of location-based search technology, and I'll give you an example of that in a minute or two. It's a mobile device, so you might want to communicate with your customers. Text, pretty simple, pretty cheap. We'll give you examples of that in a second. Or QR code, quick response code technology. And a couple of people, the two speakers before me have touched on that briefly already, but I'll go into a little bit more detail on that. First question, an app or a mobile website? Which do you want? Quick show of hands, if I can, please. Who in the room has an iPhone? Just the iPhone users. Wow. Did I underestimate that? That's high. And most of you will have downloaded an app at some point in your ownership of that iPhone, and it will work brilliantly. The problem with an app is that everybody in the room, both of you, who didn't put your hand up, you can't use that app. It is absolutely useless to you. How many BlackBerry owners or users do we have in the room? Yeah, that's not bad. That's probably, what, 20%, give or take? Again, there'll be applications on the BlackBerry that will work absolutely fantastically. The downside, no use to any of the rest of us at all. Now, this chart shows mobile phone sales in Q4 2010. Specifically what it shows is the operating system under which they work. So we can see Apple's the yellow, that's your iPhone users, 16% of the market. So if you have spent money developing an iPhone app, what that means is 84% of the market you're not reaching. Why would you do that? RIM, Research in Motion, they're the people behind the BlackBerry. 14% of the market run on the RIM operating system. That's 86% of the market can't use that technology. Question again to everybody. How many people of the smartphone users have opened up a web browser and looked at any website since they bought that phone? Have you looked at a website? Doesn't have to be a mobile website. How many people have browsed any website on that mobile phone? Just about 100% of the audience. The advantage of a mobile website is it doesn't matter which operating system your phone's working on. Your web browser will be able to see that. So, unless you've got a massive marketing budget that allows you to develop an app for each of these different operating systems, you probably don't want to develop apps. You probably want to develop a mobile website. What's the big advantage of an app? Easy access. Downloadable icon onto your screen allows people to get in touch with you at the touch of one icon. But actually, your mobile website can do that as well. Massive misconception. This example is a Taylor Wimpey mobile website. And when you reach the homepage there, it recognizes you're on a mobile device, and it asks, do you want to download an icon, a shortcut, onto your screen? You click yes, add bookmark, you name it, Taylor Wimpey, and then the final screen there, you see that the Taylor Wimpey icon is downloaded onto your mobile device screen. The biggest advantage that an app has been taken away. You've now got an instant access point, which means people can come back again and again and again really, really simply. There are other reasons why you would want an app as well, but in terms of cost-benefit, they're probably not strong enough to want to go down that route. Why would you want a mobile website rather than just letting your own company desktop standard website do the job for you? Well, this is the website that I am probably on more often than anything else. Don't tell the boss, he's sitting in the corner. This is Sky Sports, specifically the football website, where I get all of my football updates from. That's what it looks like on a mobile device. It's the same as their desktop website. It's now just being viewed in a, 3 by 5 inch screen, something like that. It's really difficult to see what that says. It's difficult to see the font, and that would be much worse if I actually had to interact with that and try and put any data on it at all. What does a good mobile website look like? This is the Webs Estate Agency mobile website. You can see that it's much clearer, it's much cleaner, it's much more simplified, it's easy to navigate around, it has reduced function and reduced content, and it focuses only on the information that you're likely to want to use when you're viewing on a mobile device. That's why you would want a mobile website. There are other reasons why you'd want a mobile website as well. It makes much easier for people to find you. Google search engines now are smart enough that they will recognize whether you've got a mobile website or not. So if I'm at home on my desktop computer and I Google, say, Barratt Homes, up at the top of the search will be www.barratthomes.co.uk. If I'm on my mobile device and I search Barratt Homes again, exactly the same, it will throw up m.barratthomes.co.uk. It will recognize that they have a mobile website, and it will throw that up at the top of the search. Google will prioritize mobile websites on a mobile device over desktop websites. So, if nobody else in your area has a mobile website, and somebody's searching for property in whichever town, and you've got a mobile website, guess who's coming up top? Remember that Google mantra, it's not too late to be early? But this is moving really, really fast. And it's going to be a case of if you're not fast, you're going to be last. Just about up on time, so let me run through a couple of quick examples of the other services that mobile can offer. Once you've got your mobile website, everything else is about gateways, helping people to get in touch with your website, helping people to find you. You can use text in, simply texting the keyword to a specific number, and in return you'll get a text with a URL link, and that will give you details of, for example, a property. When you click on that link, you get the details of the property, the price, key features, location of the property. How does it work? It uses technology called location-based search. In other words, when you text that in, the service will recognize where you're texting from. It'll use your phone network and or the GPS on your phone, and it'll recognize which property you're standing outside, and it'll send you a link to the property that you're wanting to view. Other advantages, it means that you are always accessible to people wanting to view properties that you're representing. It means that they don't have to remember the address until they get home and search for it on the desktop website. You might want to be more proactive. You might have a database of customers looking for properties, in which case you can text them details of the service. You can set up alerts as well. So say, for example, I'm looking for a two-bedroom studio in Milton Keynes, priced between £200,000 and £250,000. I can register for that. And when you list a property, it will automatically send me a text with a URL link to that property. And it's automated, which saves you a lot of time trawling through details every time you list a property, trying to find people who are interested in buying that type of property. You open the URL link, that's the sort of information you get. Key features of the property, a few images around it, the price, and working with the GPS on your phone, it'll give you directions on how to get to that property as well. And then lastly, QR codes. If you haven't seen QR codes before, you're going to see them a lot more in the near future. These are massive already in the Far East. This is just a piece of coding, but your phone can recognize this. The camera on your phone, you can install a QR scanner. So when you run your camera over that code, it will recognize what it's coding, and that might be simply a text message, or more usually, it's a web link, a URL link. I'll give you an example of one from an estate agent advert in Edinburgh. This QR code, if you scan it, it will take you to the mobile website of that estate agency. And that's an alternative to using the text. So the text in, text a keyword, get a text back, then open up the link. This does it automatically. You scan it, up comes the URL, you're automatically on the mobile website. Imagine that on a property board outside a property. I'm looking at the property, I'm thinking I might be interested. I scan it with my phone, bang, up come all the details instantly. Instant recognition, QR code, quick response. Let me summarize so you can all go and get your coffee. It's a bit of a cliche, but marketing has changed forever. It's moving off the desktop, it's moving into your pocket. It allows you to be more interactive with all of your customers, more interactive than you've ever been before. It allows you to get real personalized marketing messages out to your audience. Unless you've got a massive marketing budget, you don't want to be considering apps. You want to be looking at a mobile website, and that way every single smartphone on the planet can be accessing your information. Use every gateway you can. Once you've got your mobile website, make it easy for people to find you. Text in, text out, alerts, QR codes, location-based searches. Make sure that it's all set up for all of these services. They should all be working together in one coherent strategy. Empower your customers. Make it really easy for them to use your products and services. Thank you.